Welcome. In today's practice, you might want to have a strap available just in case you need it. We are going to begin in a seated position. If you'd like to come along with me and the Spotify playlist, you can go ahead and press play now. We're going to sit up nice and tall. And if you like, we're going to begin with 3 ohms. You can listen or you could ohm along. Remember that there's 3 sounds. It's the ah, o, and then as you move up through the spinal cord. So taking a deep breath in. Ah, Sitting with those vibrations, extending the top of the head up towards the sky and the base of the spine down towards the center of the earth. If you could like, you could bring your hands, palms down, and begin to sway from one side to the other. Breathing, moving. Could look around your space, noticing light and shadow, color. Stepping into your practice, the intention of staying present to the moment. And when you're ready, let's bring it back up to center. We're going to bring our hands down behind us and lean back and open up the chest. Squeeze your shoulder blades back. You could gaze up, keeping a little tuck in your chin. You don't want to let your head fall all the way back. Squeeze the shoulder blades, lift the chest towards the sky. Okay, let's bring it back to center. Bring your hands, palms out. We're going to come over and onto one side. We're going to reach up and over. And then press to rise, flowing from one side to the other. One more time each side. Bringing it back up to center, reach the crown of the head high, and then spinal twist, remembering to keep your back hand close to your spine. Just look behind. Take a deep breath in. Let's bring it to the other side, looking behind you. Bring it back to center. Okay, we're going to do our swooping motion with a little bit of a twist. So we bring one arm up, we lean back a little bit, we have our back hand supporting our spine, and then we bring it through center and then to the other side. Exhale as you come center and forward, and then inhale up. Could look eyes up to the sky, gaze. One more time each side. Bring it back to center. Let's come back into our meditative position. Palms up on your thighs, open and receiving. If you're with me in the music, you can hear the Om. The mantra. Might bring your awareness to your third eye, which is the center of your forehead. How much can you sense from that one point? Can you feel your gaze turning inward and upward into the inside of the third eye? That's thought to activate your pituitary glands. Okay, let's release. We're going to come over and into child's pose. So taking your knees wide, sink your hips back. Reach your arms out. If you like, you can come up onto your finger pads and activate your Hasta Bandha a little bit more by flexing or contracting the muscles in your hands. See if you can, on the exhale, sink your hips back a little bit further. Okay, finding your way up and onto all fours. You can pad your knees if necessary. We're going to shift our body weight into one knee and begin to circle the other one around, warming up the joints. Playful. Now we're going to step that foot between the hands and come into our low lunge. You can lean forward and then come back. So just gentle forward and backwards. Notice the sensation in the opposite hip, that left hip. Okay, let's take that leg back. We're going to plant our hands, engage our hands, and then shift to the other leg. Lubricating the joints, hip. And then when you're ready, stepping that foot between the hands, coming into your low lunge. And then slowly, just move front to back. If you have that full range of motion, you can come into half splits. If not, just follow along with me and just Go a little ways forward, a little ways back. Okay, let's come back to center. We're going to bring that foot back. We're going to come into our melting heart puppy pose. Hips are right above my knees. I'm going to walk my hands out. I'm going to see if I can melt my chest a little bit forward towards the ground. Tailbone is up in the sky. Notice how your shoulders feel about this pose. Let's walk our hands back underneath our shoulders. We're going to sit back onto our heels. You could always come up onto your knees. We're going to do a little forearm stretch. So we're going to come into cactus arms and we're going to come into muscly man, right? So flex your muscles, strengthen the muscles, and then we're going to open up, keeping the wrists flexed. Breathe here. You could inhale as you draw your forearms towards you, and then exhale. Breathing in. Feel that stretch in the forearm as you straighten the arms. Exhale back down. One more time. Releasing the hands. You could roll your wrists. You could move your shoulders. See how much mobility you can get into your upper body. Just warming up. Okay. Let's begin or bring our hands back behind us and then reach the chest forward. You could always use a strap here with holding on to one hand and then the other, or interlace the fingers, remembering to keep your tail tucked. Gauge your low belly and then gently look up towards the sky. Take a deep breath in. We're going to release it. We're going to wrap our arms around. Maybe you could take your fingers to the edge of your shoulder blades and then look down. Opening up the back of your body. Take a deep breath in. Let's open up the chest a little bit more. And then bring it back in. Other arm on top, chin to chest. Take a deep breath in. Let's bring it back to center. We're going to come onto all fours. And we're going to come into downward facing dog. So activating your fingers, pulling up on the center of your palm, curl your toes under, lift your knees up, hold it for a second. See if you can lighten the weight into your hands. And then lift tailbone to the sky. We're going to walk our dog so one knee can bend. And then the other can straighten, the other knee bends. Just moving from side to side, nice and gentle. Bending your knees, we're going to walk our hands back towards our feet. We're going to hang upside down. You can grab opposite elbows and just feel the weight of your arms. Help to open up your shoulders. Notice if you can feel a little traction in your cervical spine, your neck region of your body. Keeping your hands attached to your elbows. If you like, we're going to roll up nice and slow, engaging the core, tucking the tail, stacking body weights. Cactus arms down, elbows back behind the shoulders. Then bring it back up. Reach up and then bring it back down. See if you can strengthen your whole body as you reach up and down. One more time, up. Stay connected to your feet and then exhale back down. Going to walk to the front of our mat. Coming into our mountain pose. Engage the low belly, tuck the tail. Good. Bring your shoulders back and down your body. Going to shift our body weight and we're going to lift up the right foot. And we're going to get ready to step it back into Warrior Two. Maybe you take a couple of steps. Maybe it's just one big step. You could always adjust your stance by scooting your leg back. And then bring your arms out from the shoulders, palms down. See if you can bend into that front leg just a little bit more. We want the knee to not come in front of the ankle, but it could come right over the ankle. It's a pretty intense stretch. Breathing here, palm up. Front hand reaching up and back. Keep the front leg bent. Sense your side body stretch here. Take a deep breath in. Let's bring it back to center. We're going to pick up that back foot and turn and step it forward. Coming into our chair pose with arms back behind. So sinking your hips back. Coming down as far as you can without taking your knees in front of your toes. Breathe. You could almost imagine that you're holding on to a ball behind you, a beach ball. Take a deep breath in and then slowly come up. We're going to do that same thing on the other side. So lifting the left leg up, nice and slow. Thinking about stepping it back, control. Maybe coming a little bit deeper into your front leg so that your thigh is parallel with the floor. Breathe. Palm up, front hand reaching up and back. Do not come out of that front leg. Take a deep breath in. Let's bring the hand back. We're going to pick up that back foot. We're going to turn. We're going to bring it forward. This time hands could come in front or maybe even a little bit up. Lifting the chest. You might come out of your deep knee bend just so that you can lift your chest a little bit higher. And then look up towards the sky. Breathe. Take a deep breath in. Stand up, mountain pose. We're going to flow with the arms here. So in mountain pose, you're just going to bring your arms up, and then you're going to touch them over your head and then bring them back down. So inhaling up. Oxygenate your body with some deep inhalations. And then exhale it fully. One more time. Okay. This time, if you like and if you want to, if you need to, instead of interlacing your hands back behind your body, the option is to use a strap to hold your arms back. So I'm going to have a strap available for me. You could place it next to your right foot. We're going to lift up that right leg. And again, we're going to step back into Warrior Two. Okay. Coming into your Warrior Two, the depth of which you decide. Now, reaching your hands back behind, see if you can interlace your fingers and then pull your chest back. Option is to grab the strap and use it instead. So I'm going to show this one first, the strap. So I'm going to pull my shoulders back and I'm going to pull the strap between my hands. I'm pulling my hands apart. And then I'm going to come into Humble Warrior. So I'm going to want to bring my chest forward and down towards the right corner of my mat. So my arms can be here. Breathe. You can interlace your fingers. I'm going to show that here. So interlacing your fingers, draw your shoulders down, and then look down towards the corner of the mat. Humble Warrior, Warrior Two. Let's release that, coming back up. Let's straighten the front leg. Let's bring the arms out. Let's take our back hip back a little bit. Option is to stay right here, hand down towards your knee, arm up. Option to walk your hand down. Option to grab onto your shin, your ankle, or bring your hand to the ground. Triangle pose. Breathe. Take a deep breath in. Let's bring it back up. Let's bend into that front leg. Turn and step forward. Coming into your mountain pose. I'm going to move my strap to the other side. Left leg floats. With control, stepping back. Warrior. I'm just going to go right into the option of interlacing your hands. If you want to grab your strap, you can do so. Squeezing the shoulder blades and then coming down. Bending into that front leg, getting your thigh maybe closer to parallel. Looking down, Humble Warrior. Take a deep breath in, bring it back up. Release the hands, straighten the front leg. Remember, your triangle doesn't have to be all that deep. Want to make sure that you don't hyperextend your front knee though. Your triangle could just be hand next to the inside of your knee, maybe coming over, maybe grabbing onto your ankle, your shin, maybe bringing your hand to the floor. Breathe here. When you're ready, taking a deep breath in, using your core strength to lift, bending into the front leg, turn, lift your heel, come up and into standing. Take a deep breath in, And exhale back down. Mountain pose. Relax your jaw. Okay, we're going to find our way down and onto all fours once again. We're going to come into our low lunge again. So taking your right foot between your hands. This time we're going to try to bring our both hands into the inside of our foot. So you could walk that front leg over and then coming into a version of lizard's pose. Hands planted firmly and then maybe letting your front leg wing out just a little bit. Option is to come down and onto your elbows. I'm going to hold it right here for now, for today. Okay, drawing that leg back in. We're going to do our half splits. So we're going to lean back. You could use blocks here. We're going to see if we can straighten that front leg and then bring our chest towards our thigh. Relax your head, chin to chest. And then bring it back to center. Taking that leg back. Let's come back into the other side. Leaning in. Walk the front foot over just a little bit so you can plant both hands next to your foot inside. You could hold it here. You could then wing out that front leg, coming onto the outer arch. It's a version of lizard pose. Could always come down to your elbows. Let's bring that knee back in. Bring the hands to the opposite side of the foot and then come into your half splits. Chest comes down towards the thigh. Breathe. Take a deep breath in. We're going to bring it back to forward. And then we're going to step that leg through between the hands. We're going to do some Sufi grinds of the hips. So bring your hands out in front of your shoulders and then just circle your hips around. Notice how your hips feel after those intense poses. Shoulders. When you're ready, you can take it the other direction around. One more time. We're going to come onto our belly. You could come forward if you like and lower yourself down and into Sphinx pose, elbows right underneath the shoulders. Spread your fingers and then pull your upper body forward, lengthening the spine. Make sure that your neck is nice and long and your gaze is down. In front of your body, looking downward, angle. Take a deep breath in. We're going to bring ourselves down and onto our belly. We're going to plant our hands underneath, palms down, and turn your head, rest your face, and then let your legs go side to side. Could roll your ankles here, flex, point your feet. Okay, we're going to bring our head back to center, our legs down. Option here is just to bring your hands back behind you and lift the head, the hands, and the legs up. Option to use the strap so that you can grab opposite hands and pull outward. Option to interlace your fingers. So I'm going to use the strap first for the first one and then interlacing the fingers. So I'm just finding a position where I can place my hands and I can squeeze my shoulder blades together. I'm going to lift my head. I'm going to squeeze my shoulder blades together and I'm going to pull the strap apart. Breathe here. Feel the strength of your back body. This takes a lot of energy, so breathe. And then relax. You can bring your arms down by side of your body. You could turn your head and just rest on the earth. Feel your heartbeat. Okay, let's try it without the strap. You could either just have your hands down or you could interlace your hands back behind your body, straighten your arms. I'm going to bring my forehead down. I'm going to squeeze my shoulder blades together. I'm going to lift and I'm going to pull my arms apart. I'm breathing here. Take a deep breath in and then exhale back down. You could turn your head the other way and rest. We're going to press our body up and off the floor. We're going to bring our right knee in between our hands and set up for pigeon pose. Pigeon pose could be an option, or you could come into 90-90 or deer pose. So just deciding what feels best to you. Option is to lift that back leg. Option is to reach around with the opposite hand or the same hand and then kick into the foot. You could use a strap here. It can be kind of awkward to get the strap around your foot and at the same time you're holding on to the strap. So you could play with that, being very gentle not to strain anything. Pigeon pose. Take a deep breath in. Let's release that. Coming forward, lengthening the spine and letting your body fold forward. Remembering that you could always come over and onto your hip for 90-90, right? So you could adjust your position so that you have your legs 90-90 and come over. Otherwise, pigeon pose. If you're not feeling anything in pigeon pose, you could walk that front foot over to the side and get the shin more parallel to the ground. Some people have a great deal of flexibility, can actually have their shin parallel to the front of the mat. That is what is referred to as king pigeon. Wherever you are, just see if you can really take advantage of that stretch in the hip. When you're ready, we're going to come out Taking that leg back, we're going to try the other side. Option to lift that back leg. You could just lift it. This sometimes causes a stress in a cramp in your hamstrings, just because you're stretching over the knee and the hip at the same time. Sometimes your hamstrings will contract into that stretch. So don't be surprised if you get a hamstring cramp there. And then maybe reach around the opposite arm, twisting, kicking into the hands, breathing. When you're ready, we're going to release that. We're going to come forward and we're going to come over. So just letting your body relax over, coming in onto that hip and into 90-90 if you need to. Walking that front foot out if that feels better. And then I like to just use my body weight here to massage out the muscles by rocking front or side to side on my thigh, my front thigh. And instead of crawling back onto all fours to get out of it this time, we're just going to come over and onto that front hip. Coming over, bringing the soles of the feet together into cobbler's pose. Sitting up nice and tall. Pressing the knees down as you reach the spine long. We're going to extend one leg out to the side, drawing the other one in. If you have a strap, you could use the strap on your foot. You could side or forward fold over that leg, or you could bring that leg up. Option, if you can reach, is to take your index finger and your middle finger and then just lift up the leg and straighten the spine. Option, to use that strap, you could just draw that foot forward, switch the strap to the other hand, and then reach back and open up the front of the chest and the side of your hip. Bring it back in, set it down, switching to the other leg. Do it with the strap this time. Shoulders down away from your ears. Switching it to the other hand, reaching back. Breathe. And then slowly lowering it back down, releasing the foot. And we're going to lower ourselves onto our back body. Let's take our feet hip width or mat width apart, wider than hip width, and then just take your knees side to side and notice the massage on your low back. You could turn your head the same direction. And then let's take ourselves into happy baby. So knees are wide, feet are towards the sky. Could grab onto your ankles, your shins, or the bottoms of your feet. See if you can relax your low back down to the floor. This is deep hip flexion. You could gently rock side to side. You could hold it here, or you could come into half happy baby by taking one leg down. Really work on pulling that other leg towards the floor, side of your body, on the side of your body. And then option is to extend the long leg. That's pretty intense. Opening of the hip. Could bring your arm out. Reversing it or changing it up. Bring that leg back in. Let's do the other side. Otherwise, you could just hold it in your full happy baby. Foot down. Or extending the leg long. Bringing it back in. Full happy baby. If you like, you could try straightening your legs. You could grab onto your toes or your ankles or your shins. Just have straight leg, happy baby. And then let's bring our feet down. We're going to come into our pose of the day, which is bridge pose. Setu Bandhasana. Setu, that's a version of it. Setu Bandhasana. And then we're going to press the low back in. Option to lift up. You could use your strap here as well. Or you could interlace your hands underneath your bottom and walk one arm under, the other arm under. And open up the hips, open up the chest. Breathe. Bridge pose is our pose of the day. Squeeze your bottom, lift up nice, hot and high. Breathe nice and deep. When you're ready, you can release that pose, bringing it back down. We're going to plant our low back into the ground and then lift up. Head and shoulders can lift up. And let's begin to move the legs and the arms, bringing a little bit of mobility back into the joints. Pressing the low back into the earth. Taking one more deep breath in and bring it back down. Spinal twist. Extending one leg long, shifting your body weight over to that side. Foot can come to the top of the thigh. And then spinal twist. Looking opposite direction that your knee is traveling. You could pulse it here a little bit by rooting your shoulder down and then drawing your knee across. Taking some deep breaths. When you're ready, let's bring it back up to center. Extending that leg long, shifting to the other side. Foot to the thigh, reaching across over. Maybe playing with bringing the knee back, shoulder rooted, bring it across. Taking a deep breath in, let's bring it back to center. One more pose. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together and then let the knees come wide. Your arms can come palms up and just opening up. Feel the soles of the feet together touching. Be super curious about that sensation. Maybe you can feel and wiggle your toe pads. And from here, we're going to come into final relaxation. If there's any other thing you need to do to get yourself comfortable on the mat, you can do that now. Giving yourself the next 4 minutes to really integrate the experience, to reset your nervous system, to calm the mind. Could focus in on that third eye, center of the forehead. Notice that with your eyes closed, you can still see. You have a visual field. You could be curious about what it is that appears in that visual field. And softening your eye muscles. Letting your eyeballs get heavy in their sockets. Softening the jaw, the face. Staying here as long as you can, or as long as you desire, or otherwise rolling over onto your side body, drawing your knees in towards your chest. Breathing here. And then slowly coming up. Coming back into seated position, sitting up nice and tall. Bringing your hands to rest, to touch. If you like, you can touch the third eye with the thumbs, giving yourself a little bow, thanking yourself for coming to practice today. Namaste.